And that was funny. I don't feel like studying anymore. I don't feel like studying anymore. Why are there 64 terms in this chapter? That's so many terms. People that make sure systems are secure and protected from internal and external threats. Systems administrator? Nope. It's secure. It's in the word, in the definition. You need it. Security management. The susceptibility of a set of accounts or transactions to significant control problems in the absence of internal control. Inherent risk. System that describes how a company creates value, helps employees understand management's vision, communicates company corporate values, and inspires employees to live belief system. The probability that a threat will come to pass, likelihood / risk. People who record transactions, authorize data processing, and use system output. Users. Legislation passed to prevent companies from bribing foreign officials to obtain business. Also, requires all publicly owned corporations maintain a system of internal accounting controls. Foreign corrupt practices. The authorization given employees to handle routine transactions without special approval, general authorization. An outside party hired to manage a company's systems development effort. I forgot. Systems integrator. The potential dollar loss should a particular threat become a reality. Impact or exposure. People who ensure that the organization's networks operate properly. Network something. Network manager. Points where progress is reviewed and actual and estimated completion times are compared. Project milestones. The processes and procedures implemented to provide reasonable assurance that control objectives are met. Internal controls. The examination of the relationships between different sets of analytical review. Man, it's too many terms. Controls that identify and correct problems, as well as correct and recover from the resulting errors. Correctional something. Corrective controls. Controls designed to discover control problems that were not prevented. Detective controls. Establishing policies for employees to follow and then empowering them to perform certain organizational functions. Authorizations are often documented by signing, initializing, or entering an authorization code on a document or record. Establishing policies for employees to follow and then empowering them to perform certain organizational functions. Controls that prevent, detect, and correct transaction errors and fraud in application programs. Application control. The percentage of time a system is used. Utilization. A COSO framework that defines internal controls and provides guidance for evaluating and enhancing internal control systems. Internal control. Integrated framework. Implementing control procedures to clearly divide authority and responsibility within the information system function. Segregation of systems duties. System that measures, monitors, and compares actual company progress to budgets and performance goals. Diagnostic control system. Controls designed to make sure an organization's information system and control environment is stable and well managed. General controls. Computing systems that imitate the brain's learning process by using a network of interconnected processors that perform multiple operations simultaneously and interact dynamically. Neural networks. The mathematical product of the potential dollar loss that would occur should a threat become a reality called impact or exposure, and the risk or probability that the threat will occur called likelihood, expected loss. A document that explains proper business practices. Wait, is that a real thing that exists? 'Cause I just thought of something. I don't know. You know what happened? You know how the senior slump affected me? I literally dropped out of school. And was homeschooled for my final year. I dropped out of school after 1/4 of senior year. That was hilarious. I feel like I'm getting into a slump because there's only 2 days of school left and I don't feel motivated to finish. Because it's almost over. It's the exact opposite of what you would think. You'd think you'd be more motivated at the end because it's almost over, but no, it's the exact opposite. I feel way less motivated to finish because it's almost over. And I just want it to be over. That was funny. A document that explains proper business practices. Describes needed knowledge and experience. Explains document procedures. Explains how to handle transactions. And lists the resources provided to carry out specific duties. Policy and Procedures Manual. The amount of risk a company is willing to accept to achieve its goals and objectives. To avoid undue risk appetite must be in alignment with company strategy. A company is willing to accept to achieve its goals and objectives. A document that shows how a project will be completed. Project Development Plan. The outside independent board of director members responsible for financial reporting, regulatory compliance, internal control and hiring, and overseeing internal and external auditors. Audit Committee. A board created by SOX that regulates the accounting profession. Created as part of SOX. It's like PCAOB or something. The Public Company Accounting Oversight Board. A private sector group consisting of the American Accounting Association, the AICPA, the Institute of Internal Auditors, the Institute of Management Accountants, and the Financial Executives Institute. Committee of Sponsoring Organizations. A schedule that shows when each data processing task should be performed. Data processing schedule. The amount of work performed by a system during a given period of time. An investigation of a prospective or current employee. That involves verifying their educational and work experience, talking to references, checking for a criminal record or credit problems, and examining other publicly available information. People who ensure that source data is approved. Monitor the flow of work, reconcile input and output, handle input errors, and distribute systems output. Data control. Controls that deter problems before they arise. Preventative control. A path that allows a transaction to be traced through a data processing system from point of origin to output or backward from output to point of origin. Computer experts who discover, extract, safeguard, and document computer evidence such that its authenticity, accuracy, and integrity will not succumb to legal challenges. Computer forensics specialist. The company culture that is the foundation for all other internal control components, as it influences how organizations establish strategies and objectives, structure business activities, and identify, assess, and respond to risk. Control environment. Policies, procedures, and rules that provide reasonable assurance that control objectives are met and risk responses are carried out. Review performed after a new system has been operating for a brief period to ensure that it meets its planned objectives. Post-implementat review. An employee independent of the information system function who monitors the system, disseminates information about improper system uses and their consequences, and reports to top management. Computer security officer. Process of making sure changes are made smoothly. Super long. This can make the exam super long, or like the last exam I took in this class, it was like 1 hour, I think. I think I was like the last person to finish too. What the heck? Why did everyone finish so quickly? And I got the top grade in the class, unless I'm mistaken. Because I kind of remember after I finished the exam, the professor was talking to me about how the exam went afterwards, or maybe that was the next class. Process of making sure changes are made smoothly and efficiently and do not negatively affect the system. Change management. Cooperation between two or more people in an effort to thwart internal controls pollution. Separating the accounting functions of authorization, custody, and recording to minimize an employee's ability to commit fraud. It would be segregation of accounting duties. An executive level committee to plan and oversee the information systems function. Steering committee. Ways to evaluate and assess a system. System performance measurements. System that helps managers to focus support its attention on key strategic issues and to be more involved in their decisions. System that helps managers to focus subordinates' attention on key strategic issues. Interactive control system. People who use the analyst's design to create and test computer programs. Special approval an employee needs in order to be allowed to handle a transaction. Specific authorization. People who operate the company's computers. Computer operators. Legislation intended to prevent financial statement fraud, make financial reports more transparent, provide protection to investors, strengthen internal controls at public companies, and punish executives who perpetrate fraud. Individuals who specialize in fraud, most of whom have specialized training with law enforcement agencies such as the FBI or IRS, or have professional certifications such as Certified Fraud Examiner, Forensic investigators. How long it takes for a system to respond. Response time. The risk that remains after management implements internal controls or some other response to risk. Residual risk. People who help users determine their information needs and design systems to meet those needs. Systems analysts. A security and control framework that allows management to benchmark the security and control practices. I might leave a little bit earlier though because I need to let my car warm up in 5 minutes. A security and control framework that allows management to benchmark the security and control practices of IT environments, users of IT services to be assured that adequate security and control exist, and auditors to substantiate their internal control opinions and advise on IT security and control matters. Control objectives for information and related technology. A multiple-year plan of the projects the company must complete to achieve its long-range goals. Strategic master plan. A phone number employees can call to anonymously report fraud and abuse. Fraud hotline. People responsible for making sure a system operates smoothly and efficiently. High-level goals that are aligned with and support the company's mission and create shareholder value. Strategic objectives. System that helps employees act ethically by setting boundaries on employee behavior. Boundary system. Any potential adverse occurrence or unwanted event that could injure the AIS or the organization. Threat. An employee responsible for all the compliance tasks associated with SOX and other laws and regulatory rules. Compliance something. Chief Compliance Officer. A means of electronically signing a document with data that cannot be forged. Electronic signature. No, it's digital signature. It took me 30 minutes to go through those cards again. My goodness. Why are there so many? Coastal identified 5 interrelated components of internal control. monitoring, risk assessment, information and communication, control environment, control activities. To achieve effective segregation of duties, certain functions must be separated. Which of the following is not a correct listing of systems? Duties that must be segregated. Oh. Which of the following statements is true? The true statement is COSOL's internal control integrated framework has been widely accepted as the authority on internal controls. The internal control integrated framework is the accepted authority on internal controls and is incorporated into policies, rules, and regulations that are used to control business activities. With respect to controls, it is always of utmost importance to prevent errors from occurring. Management's attitude toward internal control is critical to the organization's effectiveness and success. They set the tone at the top that other employees follow. An overly complex or unclear organizational structure may be indicative of problems that are more serious. A written policy and procedures manual. Which of the following is a control procedure relating to both the design and the use of documents and records? Oh, I think that we're going to. The correct order is identify threats, estimate risk and exposure, identify controls, estimate cost and benefits. Your current system is deemed to be 90% reliable. Oh no. Math. No. They gave you the solution? What the heck? They literally just gave you the solution right there. So it's currently at 10%. I mean, the likelihood... Aren't you supposed to calculate the likelihood right now? Control procedure, likelihood multiplied by the impact equals... Well, you should also see what happens if you do nothing, though. Are you supposed to look at what happens if you do nothing? Oh! Reduction in expected loss? What the heck? Where's the original amount of loss? The original amount of loss is 300,000. It will go from 300,000 to 180. So you do that minus that equals that, and that's the reduction in loss. So it will give you basically 120,000, but it will cost 100,000. So there's the net benefit. So you calculate that for every option. For the second one, it reduces it from 300,000 to 100,000, and it's cost this, so it's this. And then if you implement both, it will have a net benefit of 20,000. So obviously, B is the option. I wonder if we're going to have a problem on the test where we have to do this. But it's not going to be that complicated because, well, the impact is 3 million. The likelihood of a threat is 10%. So the expected loss right now is 300,000. If you implement Control A, you do 6% times the impact equals the expected loss, and then do the original loss minus the revised loss, and that's the expected reduction in loss. Then you add the cost, or you subtract the cost, and you get your net benefit. So I think I know how to do this. I think I should be fine. We're probably going to have to do that on the test. But I've got it. I clearly know how to do it. That's fine. Now we're going to do the quiz one more time. Information and communication. Monitoring. Risk assessment. Control environment. Control activity. The functions that must be segregated are these functions. Which of the following statements is true? Which of the following statements about the control environment is false? Management's attitude toward internal control is critical to the organization's effectiveness and success. They set the tone at the top that other employees follow. Supervision is especially important in organizations that cannot afford elaborate responsibility reporting or are too small to have an adequate separation of duties. A written policy and procedures manual is an important tool for assigning authority and responsibility. An overly complex or unclear organizational structure may be indicative of problems that are more serious. To achieve effective segregation of duties, certain functions must be segregated. Which of the following is the correct listings of the accounting related functions that must be segregated. Which of the following is not an independent check? Examples of independent checks include periodic comparison of subsidiary ledger totals to control accounts, trial balance, bank reconciliation. Independent check involved a second person, a second set of documents or records, or a second process. Which of the following is a control procedure relating to the design and use of documents and records? Which of the following is the correct order of the risk assessment steps discussed in this chapter? Identify threats, estimate risk and exposure, identify controls, estimate cost and benefits. 1, 2, 3. The impact, which is 3 million times the likelihood is 10%. So that's the current expected loss. Then you do the new likelihood times the impact for control procedure A equals the revised expected loss. Do the old loss minus the new loss equals the reduction in expected loss. Then do that minus the cost of the control equals the net benefit or cost, and do that for all three options. And then compare the net benefit and cost and which one has the most benefit. Then you implement that. Now we're going to go to chapter 14. Please tell me the last two chapters don't have that many terms. 25, thank goodness. A document approved by the credit manager, authorizing the billing department to credit a customer's account. Credit memo. A postal address to which customers send their remittances. The company's bank opens the lockbox, deposits the customer checks in the company's account, and sends a list of customer remittances to the company. A document that lists the items and quantities ordered and authorizing the inventory control function to release that merchandise to the shipping department. It's actually a picking ticket. Producing monthly statements for subsets of customers at different times. Cycle billing. the transfer of funds through use of online banking software. Electronic something or other. Electronic funds transfer. A document listing names and amounts of all customer payments received in the mail remittance list. The use of computerized communications and a standard coding scheme to submit business documents electronically in a format that can be automatically processed by the recipient's information system. Electronic data interchange. The document created during sales order entry, listing the item numbers, quantities, prices, and terms of the sale. Really? Really? A legal contract that defines responsibility for goods while they are in transit. Selling accounts receivable at a discount to a firm that specializes in collections of past due accounts. Factoring. The maximum allowable credit account balance for each customer based on past credit history and ability to pay credit limit. A number that enables customers to remit payments via an ACH credit without requiring the seller to divulge the detailed information about its bank account. Universal Payment Identification Code. Method for maintaining accounts receivable. In which customers typically pay according to each invoice. Open invoice method. A document listing the quantity and description of each item included in a shipment packing slip. A copy of the sales invoice. Returned with a customer's payment that indicates the invoices, statements, or other items being paid. Remittance advice. A document authorizing the purchase or production of items that is created when there is insufficient inventory to meet customer order. Back order. A document listing all transactions that occurred during the past month. Monthly statement. Software that organizes information about customers in a manner software that organizes information about customers in a manner that facilitates efficient and personalized service. Customer relationship management systems. A document notifying customers of the amount of a sale and where to send payment. In which the bank electronically sends the company information about the customer account number, the amount remitted as soon as it receives payments. Electronic lockbox. The combination of EFT and ETI that enables both remittance data and funds transfer instructions to be included in one electronic package. Financial electronic data interchange. Method of maintaining accounts receivable.